You and your daughter Amelia need to leave. I'm pregnant with Kane's baby now. You two are just getting in the way. When my younger sister said those words to me, I felt like the air had been knocked out of my chest. I let out a long sigh, trying to keep myself calm, and replied as clearly and firmly as I could, I'm willing to give Kane a divorce, but I won't leave Amelia. I'm her mother. At that, Laurel's face twisted with confusion and irritation. What are you talking about? You're her mom, right? So why are you saying it like that? Clearly, my sister didn't understand. She didn't know the truth. I had never told anyone, because I never thought I'd need to, but now, I realized she needed to hear it. So I started from the beginning. My name is Heather. I'm 35 years old. I work as a piano teacher. I've been married to Kane for over 14 years, and we live together with our daughter Amelia. Kane's mother is the president of a large, well-known company. She's been on TV and in magazines. I still remember how nervous I was the first time I met her. I thought a successful businesswoman like her would be strict and cold, but instead, she greeted me with a warm smile. She told me, my son has a lot of flaws. Please take care of him. I respected her so much in that moment. Kane works at his mother's company, trying his best to keep up. Our daughter Amelia is cheerful and honest. We've always been close. She often tells me, Mom, you're like my best friend, and I feel so proud when I hear that. On our days off, we'd go shopping together, laugh, and enjoy simple family time. We were happy. That happiness lasted, until I reconnected with you, Laurel. It all began that summer, when something rare happened. We all had time off. Amelia's club practice was cancelled because of the heat, and Kane managed to get a few days off work. We decided to visit my parents in the countryside, something we hadn't done in a long time. My mother-in-law was too busy to take a break, so we skipped visiting her and headed straight to my hometown. When we got there, my parents welcomed us warmly. But I noticed something odd. There were unfamiliar sandals at the entrance. They clearly didn't belong to my parents. They looked like they belonged to someone younger. I tilted my head, confused. Then, I heard a voice from the back room. Hey, sis, it's been a while, surprised? I turned, and there she was, my little sister Laurel. Laurel, I gasped, where have you been all this time? I was so worried about you. Laurel was 7 years younger than me. She had always been a wild spirit. When she was in high school, she had a huge fight with our parents, ran away, and completely cut ties with us. I had no idea where she had gone or what she'd been doing. Only our mother heard from her once in a while, just enough to know she was alive. But now, here she was, back. Laurel smiled and shrugged. I'm fine, don't worry. Later, she sat down and told us about her life. She had run away and stayed with a friend in the city. She got a job at a cafe and had been working there ever since. Eventually, she moved out of her friend's place and lived on her own. She said, I figured I've grown up now. I should at least visit Mom and Dad. That evening, I introduced her to Kane and Amelia. Oh. You're married, and Amelia, that's your daughter? Laurel asked, sounding polite but surprised. Kane and Amelia both greeted her kindly. Laurel seemed a little awkward, but I brushed it off. I felt hurt that she hadn't reached out in all those years, but I was just relieved she was safe. Kane leaned in and said, I think I know the cafe you work at. It's near the station, right? Down that little alley? Laurel brightened. Yeah, it's the one with the cream-colored sign. Kane's face lit up too. Oh, that's near my office. My coworker was just talking about that place. Laurel beamed. Tell her to come visit. A lot of single guys come in too, she joked. Something about their friendly exchange made me a little uncomfortable, but I didn't want to seem petty. I told myself it was good that Kane was making an effort to get along with my sister. After that trip, Laurel started coming to our house often. Sometimes she'd call and ask to stop by, and sometimes I'd invite her myself. I could never say no to her. She was my little sister, after all. Amelia loved having an aunt, and even Kane said, it feels like I finally have a sister. I've always wanted one. Laurel went on trips with us and became part of our everyday life, but after about 6 months, something changed. She stopped visiting. She didn't return my messages. She ignored my invitations. I worried something had happened. She was always impulsive and emotional. So, during my lunch break one day, I decided to stop by her cafe. I found the place easily. The cream-colored signboard stood out. I pushed the door open and a bell above it jingled. A friendly worker in an apron greeted me. I looked around and spotted Laurel, sitting at a table without her apron on. She wasn't alone. Sitting across from her, holding her hand, was Kane. My heart dropped. He was smiling at her like she was the only person in the world. She was smiling back, gently playing with his fingers. I turned and rushed out of the cafe without saying a word. I think I muttered something to the worker like, "Sorry, I've got to go." I got on a train, went home, and sat in silence. I don't remember much of the trip back. I was in shock. I didn't tell Amelia. I didn't want to burden her. When she came home from school, I acted like everything was fine. That night, after Amelia had gone to bed, I faced Kane. "I went to Laurel's cafe today," I said. "I saw you. You were holding her hand. What's going on between you two?" Kane didn't even flinch. He looked up from his phone and said casually, "Oh, you saw that? Well, I was going to tell you soon anyway." He added, "Laurel and I have been dating for a while now. She's pregnant, 3 months. I'm going to divorce you, okay?" "Okay, what do you mean, okay?" I shouted. "Are you serious?" But Kane just shrugged, got up, and started packing a bag. "Where do you think you're going?" I demanded. "Laurel's," he replied coldly. "I'd rather be with someone young and cute than stay here with an old woman like you." And then he left. I stood frozen, then I crumbled and sobbed, thinking about Amelia. What would I tell her? The next morning, I called in sick. I still hadn't told Amelia the truth. I said Kane left early for work. Around lunchtime, the doorbell rang. I looked at the screen. It was Laurel. I wasn't angry like I had been the night before. This time, I felt something deeper, quiet, steady rage. I opened the door and let her in. She didn't waste time. Laurel got down on her knees and lowered her forehead to the floor. "I'm pregnant with Kane's child," she said. "I'm going to marry him, please. I'm begging you, leave with Amelia. Let us be a family." I stared at her. "Really?" I said. My voice was so cold, it didn't even sound like me. I let her into the living room. This wasn't something to talk about at the door. We sat at the table. "I'll divorce Kane," I said, "but I will never leave Amelia." Laurel's face twisted in frustration. "Huh, why? She's in the way, don't you get it? When my baby is born, it'll be weird having her around. The mom should take the child, not the stepmom." "You don't know anything," I said quietly. "What? You don't know anything," I repeated. Then I told her the truth I had kept hidden all these years. "Amelia isn't my biological daughter, she's Kane's. I met her when she was just a little girl taking my piano lessons, but that doesn't matter, because to me, she is my daughter. I chose her, I've raised her, I love her." Laurel's mouth hung open, stunned. I leaned forward, my voice low and steady. "And I will never, ever abandon her, no matter what you or Kane want." I met Kane after he had already gotten divorced. He had a young daughter named Amelia. Eventually, Kane and I got married. One day, I told this to Laurel, and she looked completely shocked. "What? You married him?" she gasped, eyes wide. I couldn't help but laugh. She looked so upset, even though she was supposed to be the one getting married soon. It was funny that she clearly hadn't known anything about our marriage. I teased her a little. "So you're marrying him, but you didn't even know he was already married? Are you sure your marriage is going to work out?" Her face turned red in anger. She slammed the table and stood up fast. "Don't worry, I'll talk to Kane and set things straight. Get ready for a divorce," she shouted. I just nodded calmly and showed her to the door. After Laurel left, I couldn't stop thinking about Amelia. Ever since we started talking about divorce, I'd been thinking about what would happen to her. She wasn't my real daughter by blood, but I had grown to love her. I wondered if I could take care of her myself. But I also worried. Laurel had said that with a new baby coming, Amelia might feel left out. Would she be okay? Weeks passed, and I spent a lot of time thinking. Amelia was getting suspicious because Kane wasn't home. I told her he was away on a long business trip to avoid telling her the truth. Then one day, Kane called. He said we needed to talk, me, him, and Laurel. We agreed to meet at my house. Just like before, we all sat down at the kitchen table. There were 4 seats, but this time, Kane sat next to Laurel, like it was the most natural thing in the world. That's when I realized it was really over between us. Kane started the conversation. "As for Amelia," he said, I'm not going to take her. She'll get in the way of my new life. You should take her. I stared at him. You're calling your own daughter a problem? Are you serious right now? He nodded like it was no big deal. Yeah, I mean it. I'm starting a new family with Laurel. I want to leave the past behind. You're close to Amelia, right? You should take care of her. I sighed. So this was what he wanted, to dump Amelia on me so he could live a new life. But looking at his face, so cold and careless, helped me decide what to do. Fine, I said, but you need to pay child support. Laurel, who had been quiet, suddenly smiled smugly. You did it, Kane, finally, all the problems are gone. Now it's just you, me, and our baby. I stood up without saying anything while they smiled and celebrated like I wasn't even in the room. Then I walked over to the counter and picked up a brown envelope. Kane looked at it suspiciously when I handed it to them. What is this? It's too thick to be divorce papers. It's not divorce papers, I said, just open it. Laurel rolled her eyes and opened the envelope, still looking down on me, but as she started reading, her expression changed, her face went pale. Kane leaned over. What's in there? What does it say? Laurel tried to hide the papers, but Kane snatched them from her and read through them. His face went blank. Inside the envelope was a full investigation report from a private detective I had hired. I was going to collect proof of their affair for legal reasons, but what I found out went way beyond that. Laurel had huge debts from overspending. To pay them off, she had worked secretly as a stripper. Worse, she had been having a long-term affair with a customer from the club. The documents had photos and details that proved everything. Kane looked shocked. Wait, so you've been with someone else all this time? Laurel didn't even try to deny it. She looked at him with disgust and said coldly, That's right, you're just an old man with money. I never really wanted you. Kane was about to explode with anger when suddenly, a voice shouted from my phone on the table. Stop it. Laurel looked around, confused. Who said that? Kane froze. He recognized the voice right away. Mom? Yes, I had secretly called his mother before the meeting and let her listen in the whole time. She had always supported me and even advised me about the situation. She cleared her schedule to be part of this in her own way. Kane's mother didn't hold back. This is pathetic. After everything Heather did for you, this is how you treat her. You're an embarrassment. Kane shrank in his seat as his mother continued. I found out you've been skipping work and sneaking off to hotels with other women. Your co-workers are complaining. I can't defend you anymore. Kane panicked. Wait, what are you saying? I'm saying you're fired, she said firmly. Kane jumped up. No, Mom, please, I'll do better. Don't fire me. Laurel, suddenly nervous, spoke up. But wait, I'm having Kane's baby. That means your grandchild. Kane's mom didn't even hesitate. I don't care, you're both fired, and by the way, the house you're living in, it's mine. Get out. No, please, have mercy, Laurel cried. It was a mess. They lost everything, their home, their jobs, their pride. I didn't feel anything anymore. I looked at them and said calmly, We're already getting divorced. We're strangers now. Leave, or I'll call the police. Kane and Laurel left with their heads down. That night, I talked to Amelia and told her the truth. She was quiet for a moment, then asked me something that broke my heart. I kind of knew Dad was cheating with Laurel, but, will you still be my mom? You won't leave me, right? I hugged her tightly. Of course I'll be your mom, always. Soon after, Kane and I were officially divorced. Amelia and I stayed in the house, thanks to Kane's mother, who said we could continue living there. Meanwhile, Kane and Laurel's lives fell apart. They argued constantly, especially after Kane found out the baby Laurel was carrying wasn't even his. They broke up. Kane called me one day, crying on the phone. Heather, I messed up. Can we go back to the way things were? I didn't answer. I blocked his number. I had no more time for a man who could so easily abandon his wife and child. Kane now works at a construction site. He's not used to the work and struggles with it, but he still pays child support. That's his responsibility now. As for Laurel, she forced the real father of her baby to marry her, but he had a wife and kids, and his wife demanded a huge settlement. Laurel's debts are worse than ever. She lives in fear of the debt collectors. In the end, she couldn't raise her baby. She gave birth, and the child was taken in by my parents who live in the countryside. They're raising the baby with love and care. During my next long vacation, I plan to take Amelia to visit the baby. Amelia says she's looking forward to it, and honestly, so am I. The road ahead won't be easy. But with Amelia by my side, I know we'll be just fine. Even though everything started as a painful mess, I think maybe I can be grateful to Cain, for one thing. Because of him, I met Amelia. And now, she's my daughter, not by blood, but by love, and that's what really matters.